Hello, everybody. All right, with that. All right, so welcome back. We're starting our week off again. Um, so hopefully everybody had a good weekend. Hopefully some of you caught some of the show last night. Talked a little bit about a few things, including one of the stories we've been following in regards to the whole One Piece debate over whether or not Yamato is a girl or a guy, what have you. But with that, what we're gonna do now, I'm gonna go off camera here for a moment as we wait for more people to show up. While I'm off doing stuff, I'll have some music on. When I come back, we'll go over what's on tap for tonight. So let me just go ahead and get all that taken care of here. Right. I guess I did it a little backwards there, but anyways, all right. So we're coming up on 3 minutes now. So here's what's on tap for now. We got three articles we're gonna go over tonight, all from Bounding into Comic, including Cowboy Bebop creator Shinichiro Watanabe will make its directorial return with Toonami's jazz sci-fi anime Lazarus. Um, Tony Isabella, the creator of Black Lightning, tries to get Eric July canceled after he made an appearance at Comicsgate booth. And One Piece creator Eiichi Oda demanded Netflix reshoot numerous scenes for a live action adaptation because they weren't good enough to put out into the world. Those are the three articles we're going to be looking at tonight. Also, of course, we'll be doing the wrestling wrap up and be doing the wrestling wrap up as well as the this day in each history. Let's see now. We're at the 4 minute mark here. Let me see. Let me just review. And we're just waiting around for people to see if we can get some more people in here before we get started. Let's see. All right. Well, with that, let's see. Now we're at the 5 minute mark, so I might as well go ahead and get started here. And here we go. All right, so Cowboy Bebop creator Shinichiro Watanabe makes directorial return with Toonami's jazz sci-fi anime Lazarus. Sounds interesting. Um, Article by Nerdigans Inc. published earlier today in the anime section. So, Cowboy Bebop director Shinichiro Watanabe makes his return in a collaboration with Adult Swim and anime studio Mappa on the new Toonami original anime series Lazarus. Okay. Collaboration was announced ahead of Adult Swim's festivals Toonami on the Green at San Diego Comic-Con, where Watanabe provided insight on the sci-fi adventure series as well as a teaser trailer, giving fans a first look at the world of Lazarus. Now, hopefully, that if Adult Swim is involved, that it is not going to be some woke baloney. That's I just hope for that. A synopsis for Watanabe's new futuristic sci-fi series Lazarus, provided by Warner Brothers' official press release, states, quote, "The year is 2052. An era of unprecedented peace and prosperity prevails across the globe. The reason for this, mankind has been freed from sickness and pain." Unquote. Quote, Nobel Prize winning neuroscientist Dr. Skinner has developed a miracle cure-all drug with no apparent drawbacks called Hapuna. Unquote. The synopsis continues. Quote, Hapuna soon becomes ubiquitous, 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 and essential. However, soon after Hapuna is officially introduced, Dr. Skinner vanishes. Unquote. Well, 3 years later, the world has moved on, but Dr. Skinner has returned, this time as a harbinger of doom. Skinner announces that her Hapuna has a short half-life. Unquote. Lazarus' official synopsis continues. Quote, everyone who has taken it will die approximately 3 years later. Death is coming for this sinful world and coming soon. Whoa. They thought it was a miracle drug, but it just accelerated people's deaths. As a response to the threat, a special task force of 5 agents is gathered from across the globe to save humanity from Skinner's plan. Unquote. The official synopsis concludes, quote, this group is called Lazarus. Can they find Skinner and develop a vaccine before time runs out? Unquote. Known for his influential filmography consisting of Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, and Kids on the Slope, Lazarus marks Watanabe's directorial return in 2019's Carol and Tuesday and to the sci-fi action genre since 2017's Blade Runner Blackout 2022. Produced by Sola Entertainment, animated by Studio Mappa, Lazarus will feature high-octane action sequences designed by John Wick franchise director Chad Stahelski. Similar to Watanabe's previous works, Lazarus's soundtrack will feature a slate jazz and electronic art, a slate jazz and electronic artists, including West Coast Get Down jazz saxophonist Kamasi Washington, producer, DJ, musician Floating Points, producer, DJ, and musician Bonobo. Let's see if anybody's here yet. And as always, guys, if you guys haven't already, if you guys can like and share this. Hey, Rick, if you guys haven't already, if you can like and share the stream, as well as, of course, and if anything here catches your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. With that, as we continue on now. As quote, as I embark on this creative journey, I can't help but feel that this project will serve as a culmination of my career so far, unquote. Watanabe said in a message to fans, quote, I hope you enjoy it, unquote. Quote, Shinichiro Watanabe is simply one of the greatest living artists, and it's a dream come true to be able to collaborate with him on a new original series, unquote. Senior Vice President, Head of Anime and Action Series of Adult Swim, Jason DeMarco acknowledged. Quote, like all of his work, Lazarus is packed with big ideas, incredible characters, and a ton of heart, unquote. He added, quote, we can't wait for anime fans to see this world. Well, I mean, if it is anything like the original Cowboy Bebop, then I would say I would look forward to seeing it. As of this writing, the first season of Lazarus is set to have 13 episodes and release in 2024. Do you plan on checking that? If it's on Adult Swim or if it's on Toonami, I probably will. I'll give it a check out. Sounds like it's a good one, but if it's anything like My Adventures of Superman, I'm not gonna probably be watching it whole long. But if it's more like the original Cowboy Bebop that we saw, not the live action garbage reboot that we saw just a couple years ago, but like the original animated one from back in the 90s, and yeah, well, I'm sure it'll be successful. So, anyways, all right, so that article's done. Okay. Now, as we get ready to continue on with the. All right, so here's one from the realm of comics. Here's the second of our 3 articles we're going over tonight here. All right, so Black Lightning creator attempts to get Eric July canceled at San Diego Comic-Con after appearance at CGC, which I'm guessing Comicsgate Comics, I guess. Article by John F. Trent published earlier today. Black Lightning creator Tony Isabella attempted to cancel ISOM creator Eric July at San Diego Comic-Con after he made an appearance at the CGC booth, or Comicsgate Comics. Guess that's what it is. CGC is Comicsgate Comics. July announced he would be at the Comicsgate Comics booth at San Diego Comic-Con on July 21st to promote his Comicsgate's comic signature series of ISOM. He tweeted, quote, 12 p.m. catch me at CGC Comics CGC signature series booth 901. Twitter user Check the Circuit then attempted to lead a cancellation of July, writing, quote, Eric July in his own words, and a pic he loves embracing, Kyle Rittenhouse. This is who CGC Comics chose to honor with a signing at San Diego Comic-Con and who San Diego Comic-Con honored to have a panel and booth. Disgusting and outright cruel, hurtful, and bigoted offense to invitees and attendees. Why? Because he's a black guy who actually thought that Kyle Rittenhouse did the right thing in defending, the place where he worked. In response to this, Isabella tweeted, quote, "Come on, Comicsgate Comics and Comic Con. You can do better and empowering and unsavory, in parentheses, to put it mildly, person like this," unquote. He then added, quote, "Jack Kirby would have punched him out," unquote. For context, it's likely Isabella is insinuating that July is a National Socialist, given Kirby detailed in an interview published in 1990, he would, quote, "beat the stuffing out of," unquote, anyone who liked Hitler. Okay, but first off, I don't think Eric July likes Hitler. Okay. Okay. Eric July is not a National Socialist. Kyle Rittenhouse is not a National Socialist. The people of MAGA are not National Socialists. Okay? If anything, I think those who might be more closely related to the views of National Socialists are people like Tony Isabella. Okay? So, that's just my 2 cents, though. When July asked him if he wanted to discuss, Isabella responded, quote, "Not in the least. Your denial of the existence and validity of trans kids alone is enough to tell me I don't need to communicate with you further." Yeah. Well, I would basically agree. If you've already made up your mind on what your views are, and there's clearly no way of changing your mind, and yeah, trying to reason with you is just a waste of time. So July replied, quote, "So instead you want to snipe and go after your partner's vendors. I'm against mutilation of children. Minors are unable to consent, and it is evil to do such irreversible damage to them. What about that do you find so repugnant?" Unquote. Again, these should not even be topics kids should even be worried about. Okay, it'd be one thing if, as an adult, they made that decision for themselves as an adult, but if your kid is born a boy, he's a boy. If your kid is born a girl, she's a girl. Period. Period. As always, of course. Hey, Woody. Isom is Motzi spelled backwards. Okay. I think it's one way of looking at it, I guess, Woody. Isabella would stop responding in the thread, but he continued to deride July on Twitter, writing, quote, "This morning's senior moment," commenting on a Comicsgate creep. He then revealed that he is in favor of butchering small children under the guise of transgender ideology. Quote, "No decent, rational human being should give a second of their time to discuss anything with people who think medically proven and valid health care for trans kids is mutilation." He then resorted to playing victim, as all those who get called on their heinous actions eventually do. Quote, "So now I'm being called a racist, and it's only a matter of time before Rich Johnson starts riding my rear end again, unquote, he tweeted. Well, I mean, some people could argue that you're going, granted, I think it's a little bit strange, but, you are going after a black man for his views. And it's kind of funny how he's calling a black man a Nazi. That's just funny and idiotic in it. Or, okay, let me correct myself. Calling a black man a National Socialist. Granted. He concluded the thread, quote, "I fear I will be spending way too much time blocking these creeps. My fault for letting them get to me with their right-wing BS." Well, Tony. It's because of our right-wing BS that you actually get the freedom to spout your okay? In other words, you're not being dragged out of your house being beat half to death because, there are places in this world where if you gave a contradictory opinion to, mainstream media or the government, you'd be dragged out of your house and beaten half to, if not to full death. Okay, and not that I'm advocating that. Nobody go out and do that. Okay, I'm just saying there are places in the world where that does happen. Okay, I repeat, do not go after this guy. All right, leave him be. As we continue on here, July would later upload a video and make it clear what his position is on mutilating children in the name of transgender ideology. Quote, "My position on this whole trans kids thing is very simple. There's not such a thing. It is something that is facilitated by adults, and that's who it is coming from. Children cannot consent. I want to be firm as I possibly can on this subject matter," unquote. Yeah, it's kind of funny how when it comes to transgenderism, these people are saying that children are capable of giving consent, but if it's a matter of doing anything else in regards to sex, okay, they can't. I think most people would agree that when it comes, I think the general consensus for most, normal people, okay, most sane people, most reasonable people, is that the only thing children should be worried about when it comes to sex or their genitalia or anything like that is that what they're born with is what they have and that it is used to go to the bathroom with. They don't need to know anything more than that. It's like that scene in Kindergarten Cop. The only thing little kids need to know is that boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. That's it. And maybe two other facts. One, for their purposes, they're used for use on the toilet. In other words, for for going to the bathroom, and that nobody has a right to touch them with nobody has a right to touch them. With the exception of maybe doctors. Okay, nobody has a right to touch them in a way that makes them feel uncomfortable. That's about the extent of what kids should know about sex and their genitalia. Okay, as they get older, maybe they should probably be taught a little bit more, but but a 7-year-old should not be considering getting a sex change operation. Okay, that is wrong. And to do irreparable damage to do something like that is evil. Top surgery, bottom surgery. My position on this has been very consistent. Those are objectively bad things. Period. July later stated, quote, "What this all boils down to is there are certain comic pros that are allowed minority, especially on social media. Definitely after 2016, 2015, the whole Donald Trump phenomenon, these guys started just coming out of the woodwork, and you found out how much they despise half the freaking voting population, half the hell non-voting population, and they take issue with folks, unquote. After explaining how he believes many of these comic pros are not happy about July's success with ISOM, believing they are the ones who own the comic book space, July asserted, quote, "Tony Isabella is an idiot." I would agree with that statement. I would also say anybody who thinks along the same lines of Tony Isabella is an idiot. Certainly, I do take exception to him trying to go after people that I work with. That's what these guys love to do. Nothing's going to happen, but that is what it is. Yeah, I mean, I don't think if San Diego Comic Con is smart, they'll ignore Tony and just tell him, "Dude, go sit in your booth and wait for your fans. Okay, don't bother us with this BS. You can either go sit in your booth and wait for your fans and sign your autograph, or get the hell out." That's what I'd tell them. Isabella would respond to the video, writing on Twitter, quote, "I've been told a Comicsgate clown I angered has done a YouTube video attacking me. You don't need to post links to it here or send private messages to me. He's been in the comics industry for 5 minutes. I've been doing good, honorable work for over 50 years. And yet and in that 5 minutes, as you so call it, he's made quite a bit. His campaign's been quite successful. So he went on to double down on his position regarding butchering children. Quote, "I called him on his trans kids comments. Decent folks know trans kids exist. Their healthcare needs are medically and morally valid. No, they're not. The benefits of their receiving gender care are confirmed by our history. They should not be denied this care," unquote. Quote, "I have been on the right side of history since I started working in comics. I'm still on the right side of history." He's not, Isabella declared. Quote, "I'm ignoring, blocking him, just as I'm doing with all of his fellow deplorable Comicsgate creep." Well, no, you're not. You're still, chiming in on him, dude. As they make themselves known, unquote, Isabella continued, quote, "I'm not scared of them. I'm disgusted by them." He concluded, quote, "I'll continue to do good, honorable work. I'll continue to be the best ally I can to the LGBTQ plus community because it's a decent thing to do, because it's the right thing to do. Thanks to all of who have backed me in these noble pursuits," unquote. Despite Isabella claiming he has the moral ground, he does not. In fact, he is promoting extremely immoral and damaging behavior. Bishop Michael Burbage of the Catholic Diocese of Arlington notes, quote, gender-affirming medical or surgical interventions cause significant, even irreparable bodily harm to children and adolescents. Now, remember, too, it's all before puberty they're trying to pull this. They're trying to get to these kids before their bodies have actually even done anything about it over their agenda. Honestly, if I was a politician, if I was in the position to do so, I would honestly write up a natural law amendment in which one further asserts the right to life from conception, as stated in the Constitution. Okay, you have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The key first word there is life. Okay, I would post an amendment, as part of the natural law amendment, would actually, I would, you have a right to life from conception. And 2, that whatever you're born as is what you are. Period. If you're born a boy, you're a boy. If you're born a girl, you're a girl. The fact that we would even have to be talking about this is kind of stupid, but that's what happens when you deal with stupid people. Let's see. These include the use of puberty blockers, in parentheses, in effect, chemical castration, to arrest the natural psychological and physical development of a healthy child, cross-sex hormones to induce the development of opposite-sex, secondary sex characteristics, and surgery to remove an adolescent's healthy breast, organs, and or genitalia, or genitals. These kinds of interventions involve serious mutilations of the human body and are morally unacceptable, unquote. He later declared, quote, to disregard or withhold information about the harms of pursuing, in smaller quotes, transition, or about the benefits of alternative psychotherapeutic treatments constitutes a failure in both justice and charity, unquote. What do you make of Tony Isabella attempting to cancel Eric July in the name of trans? I think it's stupid. I think it's asinine. If anything, it's more likely Isabella will probably be the one more likely canceled than anything else. Because, half of his fans will likely just say, we don't want to deal with you anymore. Not as many people may want his autograph because of his position. So, 34 minute mark. Okay. So anyway, I do have to go off camera here for a moment, so I'll be right back. I'm going to put some music on while I'm gone. Be back in a moment. All right, so with all that, now let's get ready to move on to the last of our three articles we're going to be going over tonight. All right, which will be this one. This now going back and talking a little bit about One Piece, but this time we're talking more about the live action series. And as always, guys, if you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream, you can get some more friendly people in here to get to watch the show. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So here we go. One Piece creator Eiichiro Oda demanded Netflix reshoot numerous scenes for live action adaptation because, quote, they weren't good enough to put out into the world. Article by Nerdigans published earlier today. In honor of One Piece Day, which commemorates the franchise's 1997 launch in Japan, I believe that's a manga, of course, Netflix unveiled latest trailer for the live-action adaptation of Eiichiro Oda's manga at San Diego Comic-Con. Adapted from the best-selling manga of Eiichiro Oda, Netflix's latest action-packed One Piece trailer features iconic scenes from the Straw Hat Pirates adventures in the East Blue and gave fans a first look at McKinley Belcher III's Arlong, confirming the 8-episode first season will at least cover up to the manga's Arlong Park arc. In addition, Netflix confirmed that the original One Piece Japanese anime voice actors will reprise their roles for the Japanese version of the live-action adaptations. I'm guessing that's the Funimation group. Anyways, I need to go off camera here again. I forgot once again to put the do not disturb sign on my phone. So I'm gonna need to put on some music here. I'll be right back. Alrighty then. So in addition, Netflix confirmed the original. Oh, okay, we already read that part. Alongside the trailer, Netflix released a letter from series creator and executive producer Eiichiro Oda, who revealed he had a quote-unquote no compromise policy throughout the entire adaptation process with Tomorrow Studios, which including demanding reshoots of scenes when he deemed necessary. Quote, so the live-action One Piece, unquote, Oda prefaced, quote, the teaser and the trailer are now out, and the launch date for the show itself is set for August 31st. I'll say this, there were no compromises on this show, and the festivities have already begun. All right. He continued, quote, it's already fun seeing the flurry of reactions after each release of information. And the very fact that adapting One Piece into live action was conceived 7 years ago is wild. How will this world be brought to life? Unquote. Quote, there was so much that went into it, all the efforts by the actors, the building of the world and the costumes, presenting things in a way that can only be done in live action. The dialogue and the entire process of so many people putting their heads together was a festivity in and of itself. He added, unquote, he added. And the live action Zorro right there. Quote, after the launch, I'm sure I'll hear about some people pointing out how this character is missing or the scene is omitted or this bit is different from the manga, unquote, he anticipated. Quote, but I'm sure they'll come from a place of love, so I intend to enjoy even those comments. The story will span 8 episodes and take us through you know where. Quote, even after the shoot was over, there were numerous scenes the production agreed to reshoot because I felt they weren't good enough to put out into the world, unquote, Oda disclosed. Let's see. The One Piece creator briefly talked about Monkey D. Luffy actor Inaki Godoy, um, praising his performance as the titular character. Um, Quote, on the other hand, there were also some lines that I thought didn't feel like Luffy on paper. But when I saw the film scenes, I went, I went in small quotes. It works when it's Inaki performing it as Luffy. As a matter of fact, I guess it's supposed to say it works great, unquote. Somebody did a typo there. Quote, there were so many things that had to be done to keep things from looking too unnatural in live action, unquote. Oda acknowledged, quote, the producers and the crew are pros at live action, and frankly, they're One Piece superfans too, unquote. He then claimed, quote, the more knowledgeable you are about One Piece, the more you're likely to notice the love they poured into this. The One Piece creator reminisced, quote, it was June when we made the final decision to go ahead and launch this show. My editor, who'd worked so hard on this, actually cried as he said, um, quote, and smaller quote, it was such a long journey, unsmaller quote, laugh out loud, unquote, before admitting, quote, not that working hard on something guarantees success, of course, unquote. Quote, by now, I just love this production team and the cast so much that I can't wait for them to get the acclaim they deserve from everyone around the world, unquote, Oda gushed. Before concluding his message to fans, the One Piece creator committed to acknowledging any complaints fans of the long-running series may have with Netflix's live-action adaptation. Quote, and if by chance people have some gripes, I'll be there to receive them together, unquote. He promised, quote, now, whatever feelings you choose to harbor in the meantime, it's still going to be 1 month, so please have some tea as you wait, unquote. Netflix's live action One Piece set sail onto the platform on August 31st. So, so with that, we conclude our news coverage here, our main coverage, the articles. Um, so, anyway, so now let's do some wrestling wrap up here a little bit here. Right? Oh, I just was like, all right. So some interesting news coming out of the WWE, of course. So it does look like now. Recently, it was reported that Brian Pillman's contract with AEW had expired. Also been reported that Brian Pillman Jr., the son of Brian Pillman, the late great Brian Pillman, was in fact working out at the Performance Center in Florida. And now it does look like there may be a deal set for Pillman, as it looks like he is on the verge of signing with him. Now, there were some reports that maybe WWE was reluctant to sign anybody new right now because they didn't want to rock the boat too much in terms of preparing things for the eventual takeover by Endeavor, as to include the sale, and also with the TV deals and all that. So that's, and of course tonight there is of course WWE Raw tonight. Let me see what's on tap for that tonight. And we just look to. So on tonight's Raw, let's see what we have here on tonight's Raw. So tonight's Raw will be from Maui, Florida, or Maui Arena in Tampa, Florida. Thus far, the two matches are signed. Tommaso Ciampa will be taking on Bronson Reed, and Becky Lynch will be taking on Zoe Stark. As the WWE will, of course, with now SummerSlam just under 2 weeks away, as it'll be on Saturday, August the 5th. Now we'll be seeing them probably promoting more and more towards that. So now moving on to some AEW news, of course, on this past weekend's Collision. The main event saw, in a match that was set up earlier in the night, Christian Cage and Ricky Starks defeated CM Punk and Darby Allin. Taya Valkyrie defeated Sky Blue. The House of Black retained the trios titles as they put them on the line against Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed. And Miro defeated Nick Comoroto in a minute and a half. And then the opening match of the evening had Bullet Club Gold defeating Action Andretti and Darius Martin. Now, an interesting thing came out about a couple other things happened, of course. FTR cut a promo on their upcoming title defense next Saturday, or this Saturday, the 29th, this Saturday's episode of Collision, in which FTR will be defending against the Blind Eliminated Tag Tournament winners, the AEW World Heavyweight Champion MJF and Adam Cole. Also, of course, after the trios title match, Billy Gunn took off his wrestling boots and left them in the ring. Now it's possible that this may be an indication that Billy Gunn is choosing to retire from in-ring competition, as this has become a bit of a tradition that when a wrestler retires, they will at times leave their gear or their portions of their gear in the ring. We saw this, about a couple years ago when Undertaker retired. He left his hat and jacket, in his iconic hat and jacket, in the ring, and he decided to finally hang it up, as it were. So now some quick little tidbits from Ring of Honor. Now Ring of Honor had its Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view. Some key title changes. Only one title change actually happened, which was in the four-way match for the tag team titles. Aussie Open defeated defeated the champions, the Lucha Brothers, as well as Best Friends and Best Friends. I can't remember the other team right now who challenged for the titles, but Aussie Open won the Ring of Honor. And Impact Wrestling on this last Thursday's Impact Wrestling, Ace and Bay got their contractual rematch against Subculture for the Impact World titles, in which Subculture won the match and retained the belts. So that's all I've got for you on the wrestling wrap-up. So with that, today being Monday, July 24th, 2023, let's take a look back at this day in Nietzsche history. History! 1348 in 93. Okay. All right, so first off, we're going to head back 75 years ago. As on this date, 75 years ago today, Warner Brothers Cartoons, Warner Brothers Pictures, would release the 1948 animated short Daredevil Hair. It stars Bugs Bunny, and it is the debut of Marvin the Martian, although he is unnamed in the film, along with the Martian dog Canine. Marvin's nasal voice for this first film is different from the later one he is most known for. It is also the last pre-August 1948 Looney Tunes Merry Melodies cartoon whose copyright was sold to Associated Artists Production. So, on this date, 75 years ago today, Marvin the Martian made his first appearance in a Looney Tunes cartoon in the 1948 short Daredevil Hair. Right, moving ahead to 1993, as it were, will be the next date we go to. On this date in 1993, Shin-Ei Animation would release the anime film Crayon Shin-Chan Action Kamen versus Leotard Devil. And Toei would also release on this date Roku Dennashi Blues 1993. So on this date in 1993, Shin Animation's Crayon Shin-Chan Action Kamen versus Leotard Devil and Toei Animation's Roku Dennashi Blues 1993 were both released on this date back in 1993, 30 years ago today. And finally, on this date 10 years ago today, in 2013, the fifth issue of Constantine, the Volume 1, Issue 5, the fifth issue of Constantine would be released from DC Comics. The story was Stealing Thunder, written by Ray Fawkes, with art by Renato Guedes. Taylor Esposito did the lettering, and coloring was done by Marcelo Maiolo. So on this date in 2013, 10 years ago today, the fifth issue of Constantine would go on sale on this date back in 1990. Well, I thank everybody for being here tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed the show and got a lot out of it. Let's see. We'll be back here, of course, tomorrow with more niche news. Also, this Friday, Tim Olson will be joining me as we will be looking at some comics that went on sale in November 1939 from Fiction House, most notably the first issues of Fight Comics and Planet Comics. So I hope you guys will be here for that. I hope you guys will be back here tomorrow for more niche news. And with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I will see you all tomorrow.